Hi, I'm Brian Grossman. I am a camera collector, a hobby photographer, and author of the totally awesome Nikon film cameras, Which One is Right for You? $3 worth of knowledge, guaranteed. See the link below. Now, today I've got an idea I want to share with you to save money. Consider for a moment the old rangefinders of the 1950s. This happens to be a Canon P, one of the more, it's a very successful camera. The people today love these things, and with good reason. They're wonderful. They're just absolutely wonderful cameras. They're very popular. Likewise, the Soviet rangefinders are coming back into popularity nowadays as well. This is a Fed 2. It's an early one. You can see from the script here. Well, what do all these early rangefinders from the 1950s have in common? One thing they all have in common: no light meter. Okay, this is a meterless camera. This is a completely meterless camera. I mean, solid as a rock. I mean, built, built with. I mean, this thing's solid. It is built well, but no light meter. Similarly, the early Leicas did not have light meters. That is the M series Leicas, the M2, the M3. I'm not sure which was the first Leica with a light meter, but consider how wildly, insanely popular the Leica M3 is. Just Google Leica M3 on YouTube, and you'll find countless videos just drooling over the wonderful Leica M2 or M3. I think the M3 is the most popular. No light meter. So it's possible to really enjoy an awesome classic camera even though it doesn't have a light meter. I think that's fairly well established. I think we can all agree on that. So with that in mind, what is the advantage of an SLR over those classic rangefinders? Well, one of the big advantages was a built-in light meter. However, the cameras of this era, of the 1960s, up through the 1960s, up through say the early to mid 1970s, they used light meters based on cadmium sulfide. And they were okay, they worked reasonably well, but they've not held up all that well over time. Moreover, almost all those cadmium sulfide light meters from the 60s and early 70s were built for mercury batteries, which are no longer available. And that presents its own issue as well, because you're using different voltage. You have to use a 1.5 volt alkaline replacement cell in a camera designed for 1.35 volt batteries. Again, another topic for another day. But my point is, the old cadmium sulfide light meters in most of these old SLRs, few of them have survived reliably to this day. They're becoming harder and harder to find. The newer style light meters made out of gallium and silicon, or operating on a gallium or silicon based photocell, they've lasted a little bit better, a little longer. They're more reliable. But these old cadmium sulfide things, oftentimes you'll get one of these and the meter needle in the viewfinder will jump around a little bit. And the seller is going to say, oh, well, it jumps around, but it still gives a reading. No, if the needle is jumping around, that's a bad potentiometer. That's a bad meter. It's got to be fixed, and the number of people who know how to fix that is diminishing rapidly. So I have, however, noticed that the major retailers online, when they're advertising a camera such as the Nichromat FTN, one of these here, if the meter is totally dead, they will advertise it as light meter inoperative, light meter non-functioning, or what have you. And the listed price will be, 30, 40, maybe 50% less than what you'd pay for one with a questionably functioning light meter, a light meter advertised as functioning, but which may or may not give you an accurate reading, again, when we're talking about these old cadmium sulfide meters from the 1960s. So here's the point I'm trying to make. The old rangefinders from the 1950s, even that Canon, are becoming extremely expensive. The only exception to that rule are the old Soviet rangefinders, and they've got their own issues, which is another topic for another day. But these big old built like a tank, all metal SLRs from the mid to late 60s, early 70s, designed for mercury batteries and cadmium sulfide light meters, they're still around, and you can find them. And every once in a while, you can find one of these things listed in excellent condition, light meter inoperative. And what I'm suggesting is that excellent condition light meter inoperative is actually your best investment for these old built like a tank SLRs from the 60s and early 70s. And the reason I say that is because, again, why do we love these things? We love them because they're built like a tank. You know, they're going to last forever. You can hammer a nail with this thing and it'll still work. That's why we love them. We do not love them because they have great light meters. They never did. I mean, the old CDS meters were okay, but they're not nearly as good as the silicon photodiodes we have nowadays, or that they started using in the mid 70s. So if I'm looking for, if I'm a young person, I'm not a young person. I used to be a young person, but today, if I were a young person today, looking to get into 35 millimeter on a budget, in my opinion, the best deal around is going to be one of these old clunkers with a busted light meter, because you're going to get a huge discount on the purchase price. And on most of these old built like a tank SLRs, the light meter is the only thing which is absolutely guaranteed to fail eventually. Eventually these things will break. The light meters, that is. The camera, no. The old built like a tank, all heavy metal SLRs from that period. I mean, you get one of those in excellent condition, it will last you the rest of your life with minimal maintenance. That is no exaggeration. And if the light meter is busted, you're buying one light meter inoperative, you can get them for a song. You really can pick them up inexpensively. And I'm not just talking about the Nicromats. Let me show you. Let me give you some more ideas for the sorts of cameras that I have in mind here. I sold most of my other brands years ago because I crossed the line from healthy hobby to unhealthy hoarding. Though I used to own a bunch of these. So, for example, the Konica Auto Reflex. Konica Auto Reflex, this happens to be a T3, but anything from T2 to T3, these are all metal, built like a tank SLRs. This is an ad from the December 1975 issue of Modern Photography, a popular photography magazine in the United States back in the 70s. So, Konica Auto Reflex, great cameras, built like a tank. It was auto exposure, shutter priority, but it used a mechanical system which actually grabbed the meter needle. There's this part that reached out and physically grabbed the meter needle to lock in your aperture exposure. It sounds funny today, but that's what it was. Point is, it works fine without a battery. Without a battery, this thing is the functional equivalent, essentially, of a Nicromat without a battery. You can set up all the speeds, function, and fire. Great lens selection. The Hexanon lenses are very well regarded. And these things are not expensive. And if you can find one, excellent condition, meter inoperative, $30, $40, seriously. And you got something that's going to last you a lifetime, literally a lifetime. What else? What else are we talking about? Here's a Canon F1. Those can be expensive, but again, find one, light meter inoperative, big discount. Although better than the F1, in my opinion, the FTB. I had a couple of these. I love these cameras. The FTB is just a phenomenal camera. The repair tech that I used to go to back in the day said that it was one of the most well-built, well-designed, and easiest to work on. So I'm a big, big advocate of the FTB. Built like a tank. You've got the Canon lenses from that period, which are quite good. And one of these things in excellent condition, light meter inoperative, again, $30, $40. It's a great way to start a collection. It'll last you for freaking ever. Although between the two, personally, I take the Konica because it has a stainless steel copal square shutter, whereas the FTB utilizes a cloth shutter. And the cloth shutters can wear, whereas the copal square shutter has held up over time. The copal shutters, which are found in the Konica Auto Reflex series and the Nicromats and the Nikon FM, are freaking indestructible. They will not fail. The cloth shutters, they're perfectly good, tried and true technology, but they can wear out. Other cameras you might want to shop, you might want to consider would be, let's see here. Oh, here we go. The OM1, Olympus OM1. Here, Olympus OM1, wonderful camera, very popular. Everybody loves it. Again, mercury battery, cadmium sulfide light meter. It's basically a miniaturized Nicromat with slightly better ergonomics, maybe perhaps considerably better ergonomics, but nonetheless, Functionally, it's basically a miniaturized Nikkormat. Get one, light meter inoperative. Don't worry about the mercury battery. Forget it. Don't worry. Just eliminate that from consideration. Pentax, the KX, excellent camera. This is the professional the professional series model of the. The K1000 was the budget in this series. This was the high-end camera of the series. There's Pentax Spotmatic right here. These are also mechanical cameras. The K2, however, was all electronic, so the meter breaks, the camera breaks. But the Spotmatic and the KX, also the KM, as well as the K1000, all mechanical, perfectly reliable, without a battery. I got another one over here. Oh yeah, the Minolta. Let's not forget Minolta. The Minolta SRTs. The Minolta SRT series was fantastic. Also, mercury battery, cadmium sulfide light meter. However, all metal, built like a tank. This happens to be an ad for the SRT 200, 200, 201, 202. There's just 3 levels of the SRT series, but they all had a cadmium sulfide meter powered by a mercury battery. So again, you find one of these without, we're in excellent condition, that is excellent mechanical condition. It doesn't need any repairs. It doesn't need any work done to it. But light meter inoperative, 30, 40 bucks. Okay, top condition, maybe 50 bucks. I don't know. But, if you're just starting out and you're getting into film, I really think that one potential option you may want to consider is invest in an old, built like a tank, all metal SLR, such as the ones I just mentioned. Look for one in excellent condition, light meter inoperative. You're going to find the best deals. KEH puts good deals on those. Use photopro.com, has great deals on light meter inoperative. The Camera Store, the one in Finland, I don't know how they say that, Camera Story or whatever with a K, Camera Store with a K. I just saw, I was cruising through their website and noticed, I think it was an auto reflex with light meter inoperative for like 30 some dollars, or no, 30 some euros, so that would be like 40 some dollars. But nonetheless, built like a tank, originally designed for mercury batteries with a cadmium sulfide light meter. Look for excellent condition, light meter inoperative. You're going to get a camera, open the box, you'll be able to use it. As soon as you open that box, it's not going to need any work. You're not going to have to look around for a tech to repair it or to give it an overhaul or a CLA. Not if it's sold in excellent condition. Excellent condition should mean it is perfectly usable straight out of the box, no work needed. That's what excellent condition should mean for a camera. If the light meter is not working, again, the old built like a tank mechanical cameras, so what? The only thing that is guaranteed to fail on those cameras is the CDS meter. So if you're young, and you buy one with a good meter, it'll probably break, in the next 10 or 20 years anyhow. So why bother? Just get accustomed to metering with and nowadays you get these light meter apps for your smartphone. You don't even have to buy a light meter. You can download a free app. Come on. It just seems to me that nobody's talking about this. I haven't heard anyone suggest this as an idea, but I've noticed this trend as I look around at the retailers who sell these things. If they advertise a camera light meter inoperative, you're looking at a 30, 40, 50% discount. And when it comes to these old all metal built like a tank cameras, you're really not sacrificing all that much. Okay, that's my thought for the day. Just wanted to share it with you. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.